Good evening. I'd like to reconvene the meeting of Community Unit School District 300 Board of Education this evening of January 24th, 2017. Mr. Alessio, please call the roll.
Alessio, present. Burley. Present. Fiorentino.
Present.
Garcia.
Present.
Lopez.
Present.
Miller.
Present.
Stevens.
Okay, parents, I want to let you know, and anyone else, if you want to take pictures, please feel free to roam anywhere you want to. Just please don't block someone else from taking pictures. Mr. Hyde.
Good evening, Madam President, members of the board, members of the community, staff, and our students. It's my pleasure to introduce to you this evening Mr. Nate Jarrett, principal at Lake in the Hills Elementary School, who's here to introduce his students and lead us in our pledge.
Good evening. Thank you. Board President Miller, school board members, D300 staff, and community members. It is a privilege to be here tonight to introduce some important fifth graders at Lake in the Hills Elementary School. We know that in life, sometimes it is the little things that make a big difference, and following through and showing up and being consistent can make all the difference. And these are three students that I want to explain to you what they do every day at our school and how they do something small, but again, very, very impactful. So I want to just introduce Derek Kimbrough, Andrew Byer, and Daniel Curran. Every day at schools across the nation, the very important practice takes place, and that is the United States American flag is raised every morning on the flagpoles, and then of course in the afternoon it's taken down. And these students faithfully show up to school early and take on that responsibility and do that with like clockwork. They were trained earlier this school year on how to fold the flag, how to carry the flag, most importantly how to respect the flag and what it represents. And so rain or shine, sleet or snow, specifically to start off, Derek and Andrew are out there every morning. And it is one of the things that just brings a smile to my face every morning. I see those guys out there taking care of the flag, doing it exactly the way they're trained, and raising that thing up. As the buses pull by, bus after bus, little kindergartners, first graders are piling out of the buses and walk by these leaders at our school, and they see them, and it's a special moment. It warms my heart every morning. They have now taken it upon themselves to train other fifth grade students, and so they're now training Caitlin as well. So she will take on that role, and they'll pass on along that leadership opportunity to her. So I wanted to publicly thank you guys for what you do at our school every morning. And it's a little thing, raising the flag, but it's such a powerful and big message to all of our other students. They were also honored at our Veterans Day activities, and they were the ones that raised the flag and demonstrated to our veterans in our community how we respect them by raising the flag every morning. One morning it was sleeting, freezing cold, and the flag rope was frozen on the pole. But they did not give up. They were out there. We have smart kids at Lake in the Hills. They did not lick the pole. We have a new STEM department that is taking care of that. We're all good. But they were out there, breathing, trying to get that rope unstuck. We had a couple radio calls to the custodian. We finally got the rope unfrozen, and sure enough, the flag went up. So I was proud of you guys, and it was pretty funny too. So if you could please join me as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. Please stand up. Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you.
Hey, guys. Sadly, I was visiting a school recently where one of our students did, on a dare, get stuck. But we took care of it.
Okay, item 5, motion to approve the agenda. I have no changes on the agenda.
So moved.
Second. Fiorentino,
Aye.
Alessio, aye. Burley,
Aye.
Garcia. Aye. Lopez.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, any board announcements? I had none. Okay, superintendent's report. Mr. Hyde, item 7.
Madam President, members of the board, it's my pleasure to introduce the topics for this evening's superintendent's report, but I do believe we will set a record that after the first portion of the superintendent's report, we will see the fastest exodus of this boardroom that we have ever seen and witnessed before. There are 3 topics on this evening's agenda for superintendent's report. The first is recognition of our 30-year plus employees. The second is a discussion about our Student Success Academy, and the third is the District 300 Good News. So at this time, I'm going to go ahead and do my introduction. I'll ask Mr. McGinn to join me at the podium. He's going to read off the names. But it is my honor, and employee recognition is something we reinstituted in the district a couple years ago because people who commit themselves to public education, it's servant leadership. They do not do it for the paycheck, I can assure you. They don't do it for the public accolades, because those are sometimes far and few between. But they do it because they're committed to excellence. They're committed to making a difference in this world, in our community. And so kudos to them, regardless of what role they serve in. Anyone who dedicates that much time deserves a tremendous amount of respect and thanks from all of us. One of the things I think it's important to point out, when you've spent 30 years, and I looked this up today, when you spent 30 years in our school system, I don't think you realize how much changes in 30 years. You know, you can start with the political things like the fact that we took down the Berlin Wall. They were witness to that. Post-it notes were invented while this group was working for us. ATMs were invented while this group worked for us. We went from brick mobile phones, we went from pay phones to mobile phones, the big brick ones, to flip phones, to now smartphones, where the internet and Wi-Fi enable us to be on all the time. Some of the other things they saw was a transition from 8-inch floppies with computers, and our schools went from probably having access to 1 or 2 computers in a school, let alone in a classroom, to now every student having a one-to-one device. So I think they have seen change that. It's funny, when I reflected back on all the things I saw listed that they have been witness to, it's quite impressive. I thought the Post-it note one was quite interesting. So kudos to you. Kudos to you for withstanding that storm of change that always happens. And that is the one constant in education. I shared that with you all during my conversation with you recently during our Institute Day. But that is the one constant that we have. And I want to say thank you, sincere thank you from me to you. Education and what we do in our classrooms is near and dear to my heart, and your commitment to excellence. I can't even imagine. I tried to do the math earlier today. Sorry, Miami-Dade County student. I tried to do the math on how many students you have come in contact with as a collective, and it's quite impressive. That number there's a lot of zeros on the end, I'll tell you that. So kudos to you, and thank you, because you make our community that much stronger. Again, while it's impossible to clearly and fully articulate our gratitude that our community should and does share with each of you, I offer my personal thanks yet again for all that you've done for the thousands of students you've encountered throughout your career. And on behalf of the District 300 School Board, staff, and our community, I'm delighted to provide each of you with a small token of our appreciation. If you all were with us and you got the pencil years ago, I'm sorry to say you're not getting the matching pen. We did look into it. I'm sorry. I tried. Couldn't make that happen. But at this time, I'd like to ask Anthony McGinn, our Director of Communications, to join us at the podium. He will call out the names of each of you. I'll ask you to come up. We'll quickly shake hands. I'll give you your token of appreciation. If you would, please stay up front for a moment. We'd like to take some photos at the end, and I'd also like to give you an opportunity to shake hands with the board members.
So it is an honor for me to be here tonight to recognize our 30-plus year employees. For someone like me who's recently started what I hope is a long career in District 300, being in a room like this is incredibly inspiring and humbling. To be celebrating your dedication and to be showing everything that you guys have done for the District 300 community. One of tonight's honorees also happens to be the very first person that I ever met in District 300, and that was Dr. Sarah Kudrowski. That's significant for one reason. A few weeks after I started, Dr. Kudrowski asked me if I wanted to attend a workshop with her at Johns Hopkins University. And while we were on the plane together, she asked me how my new career as an administrator was going. I showed Sarah the list of projects that I was responsible for completing, and as the board knows, with the fast pace that Superintendent Hyde has his people work, it was quite a long list, and I felt very overwhelmed. So I said to Dr. Kudrowski, I have so many different projects that I'm responsible for completing. I'm not sure where I should start. And when I do start, how will I know that I'm making a difference? And she looked at me and she said, have you ever heard something called the starfish story? And I said, no. So she told me this brief story, and I promise it's brief. She said, one day there was a man walking along a beach, and he noticed a small boy gently picking things up and throwing them into the ocean. And the man asked the boy, what are you doing? And the boy said, I'm throwing starfish back into the ocean. The tide's going out, and if I don't throw them back, they'll die. And the man laughed, and he said, do you realize there are miles and miles of beaches and hundreds of starfish? You can't make a difference. And the boy bent down, and he picked up a starfish, and he threw it into the ocean. He turned to the man and he said, well, I made a difference to that one. And I feel like that starfish story is incredibly significant tonight because in that particular example, I was a starfish that Dr. Kudrowski made a difference for. And in a way, you really mentored me upon my arrival. And everyone who's in this room tonight being honored, you've made a significant difference to the starfish in your own lives, the ones that you've encountered. And we've seen that. And for the ones that I've seen personally, for example, Jeff Prignitz, we saw your incredible impact that you had to Dundee Highlands Elementary School through your Educator Spotlight Series video. Robert Fraser, we learned about the differences that you make with your students at Jacobs during your one-to-one program video that we viewed as a staff on our January 13th Institute Day. Craig Sunstead, I know you're here somewhere. You probably don't know this, but 1 year ago, I was having one of the worst days of my life. And you came in, we talked very briefly. You told me a story about watching a Cubs playoff game with your son and with your grandson. And that changed my entire outlook for the rest of that day. Chuck Bombalis, I've said so many great things about you, but we experience your difference every day in the buildings that you help design, where we constantly see your fingerprints, sometimes literally still. And for those of you that I haven't worked with directly, I know the differences that you've made. Mark Betcher, Lisa Betcher, Helen Lawrence, every time I meet a D300 music student, they are very quick to offer accolades about the tremendous differences that you collectively have made in their lives. Rita Kruer, I don't think there's a week that goes by in the central office where I don't hear about something amazing that has happened in your classroom. Mary Fraser, earlier tonight, Lead 300 President Mike Williamson told me that you are the most inspirational special education teacher he has ever seen, and your ability to differentiate for every student in the classroom is unparalleled. Luann Nelson, just a few minutes ago in that same conversation, Mike Williamson told me that you are a personal mentor to him. So each of tonight's honorees, you have made a significant difference to the starfish that you've encountered along the way. And with more than 30 years of service, I can promise that each of you have cleared your respective beaches of starfish many times over. I thank you, the board thanks you, and District 300 thanks you. So at this time, I'm pleased to present tonight's honorees. I will call your names, and please come and meet Superintendent Hyde in the front of the boardroom. And then please proceed to the right, and we'll form a line going along the wall until everyone is up at the room at the same time. Thank you. So we will start with Lisa Betcher, most recently at Dundee Crown High School, 36 years in District 300. Susan Burke, Newbert Elementary, 31 years in District 300. Barbara Cunningham, most recently Algonquin Middle School, 31 years in District 300. Barbara DeBow, Westfield Community School, 31 years. Kieran Ann Fitzsimmons, Westfield Community School, soon to be 32 years. Mary Fraser, Dundee Highlands Elementary, 35 years. Robert Fraser, Jacobs High School, 32 years. 32 years. Dr. Sarah Kudrowski, Liberty Elementary, 31 years. Rita Crewer, Dundee Highlands Elementary, 52 years. Helen Lawrence, Hampshire High School, 32 years. Margaret Molnar, Dundee Highlands Elementary, 32 years. Luann Nelson, Algonquin Middle School, 34 years. Jeff Priegnitz, Dundee Highlands Elementary, 30 years. Jennifer Schumacher, Dundee Middle School, 34 years. I'm sorry, 35 years, excuse me. Craig Sunstead, District 300 Administration Office, 43 years. Please forgive me if I get this pronunciation incorrect. I have Nikki Vanelli, Carpenter's Middle School, 33. VA? I apologize. Carpenter's Middle School, 36 years. Barbara Wallenberger, Liberty Elementary, 33 years. Deborah Yazel, Dundee Middle School, 35 years. Mark Betcher, Dundee Crown High School, 33 years. Chuck Bombalis, D300 Central Office, 30 years. David Merck, Hampshire Elementary, 35 years. Chris Nilsson, Hampshire High School, 35 years. There are a few remaining, but I'm not sure if they're in the room. Is Kim Bieber here? John Blomquist? Roseanne Day? Thomas Russell? Margaret or Fred Wint? Okay, then I believe that this is everybody. So Board of Education, these are our 30-plus years employees.
Anthony.
That would not have been pretty.
You're the first one. They're taking them to A to take a group photo. Okay, all that cheering, for the record, they're not retiring yet. They're just leaving this evening.
Mr. Hyde, you do know that old school teachers don't die. They just lose their class.
Mr. Hyde.
Ma'am.
Mr. Hyde, I would like to suggest that the next time we have a party afterwards
Yes, ma'am.
with cake.
With cake, yes, of course.
With cake and good cheer. Pardon me?
As we
I know,
transition,
then nobody will leave.
what a great opportunity to celebrate our employees, but also celebrate the success. I was just commenting to Ms. Keys and Ms. O'Keefe. It's funny when you look at the room and you look at the faces, and I see them in their classrooms almost daily as I make trips around the district. It's scary to see that much talent with this much experience coming to the end of their careers. So, it's a strong testament to their dedication to our community, and one that we should continue to celebrate. So I'm glad we had the opportunity. Thank you for indulging us as we made this happen for them. At this point, we're going to transition to the next topic in the superintendent's report, which is a report on the Success Academy. Sometimes it's referred to as ALOP. That's the acronym that the state uses. We want to basically be able to share with you an update, as you've heard before, about the program. But we also have some recent accomplishments, and we have some guests with us this evening that we will recognize for their accomplishments as well. So, Ms. Nacky.
Stand up here, guys. With me. All right, we're very excited to be able to present tonight. So we have our Success Academy, or ALAP. It's an Alternative Learning Opportunity Plan, and this is a brand new program that was started this year with the help and support of the ROE. So with our Success Academy, we also started an academic review committee. It's the equivalent to our discipline review, but it's for the academic portion of that. So the committee meets every other week, opposite of the board meeting nights, and we look at a student's case. We look at the problem-solving aspect of it. So looking at some of our alternative programming, we're looking at our ombudsman programming, our Night I Learn program, as well as ALAP, to see how can we help support these students more that are academically at risk. So it consists of building level administrators as well as central office, and then individuals who help run the program, that you'll hear two of them tonight. So the purpose really is to provide that different environment for our kids that are academically at risk, for whatever reasons that they may be at risk. So it's designed to do an individual learning profile, which you'll hear about in a minute, as well as really focusing on not just that academic, but also the social emotional, as well as the career development, and really focusing on what do the students want to do after they graduate. So sometimes it's seeing that light at the end of the tunnel for students who may not even see themselves graduating high school, and it gives them the opportunity to see, yes, you can graduate high school with a high school diploma and go on to whether it be college, a trade school, military, whatever that may be for those students. So who's eligible for the program? There is set criteria that we have to go through to meet this. So it's students who are considered poor academic performance. They're performing below, whether they're behind in credits or not meeting on standards. And that's despite interventions put in place. So we're trying to make sure that it's students that can be able to be successful to earn their graduation towards that, and how do we help look at that very differently. And you'll hear from the gentleman about how we look at that. But the best part of what we have kind of found this year is the best part of this is one of the criteria is we have to have a success plan for each and every student. And really that's taking the time of looking at that academic, looking at, what's in the way of why they're not coming to school? What's in the way of what do they see themselves after high school doing? So it gets that conversation and it helps them really focus on what they're trying to do and to see that they can be a high school graduate. So that's a lot of what has stemmed from the conversations, and then we develop their education plan based on that. So I'm going to turn it over to Ron Shilcutt, who's going to kind of talk about how the program at CMS looks and the success that we're having there.
Good evening. So at CMS, we have 6th, 7th, and 8th graders. With this first year of Success Academy, we also had a few of our 8th graders who were actually retained from the previous year. 4 of those students were able to then transfer into Dundee Crown at mid-year. Through a lot of blood, sweat, and tears, they were able to make up their deficiencies and really shoot for that goal of getting to Crown and starting their high school career. In the realm of attendance for our group, we've seen improvements. One of the things while I was having the individual parent meetings was reiterating how important attendance is, and reminding parents that, especially as students move into middle school and high school, missing a day throws them so far behind. And if there's a way to make that vacation you want to go on fit in with the school schedule, please do that. And we've seen some successes. We're seeing much better numbers than what we had last year. So when we look at grades in that first slide, it only has 7th and 8th graders because, of course, our 6th graders were only 5th graders the year before, and their grading was standard-based. Comparing to the 2016-27 grades so far, it's just an incredible jump. Many of our students never thought they would ever get A's or B's. We went from the year before 0 A's to 6 with the sixth graders, 17 with the seventh and eighth graders, and it's just an incredible jump for those students. For many of the students, Success Academy gave them the chance to attain A's and B's for the first time. Students at CMS are being successful in current classes along with making up deficiencies from before. And I think our greatest accomplishment is really the social emotional part of it. A lot of our kids that fell behind, they didn't feel a connection to school. With our program, they're able to make connections with a smaller group of teachers and a set number of classmates, and really move to that next level and really understand what school is about and make choices that are more positive. I'd like to turn it over now to Tyler Carlson. He runs the Dundee Crown side of the program.
Hello. If you look at the other side of the slide there, you'll see that Dundee Crown this past first semester, students completed 142 semesters of coursework through the online curriculum. And it's really a product of three things. The first thing that it's a product is students embracing an opportunity. That's really the thing that we've been most proud of throughout this, is that students have seen this chance, this opportunity, this new avenue, and they've embraced it. So first and foremost, the students have excelled when given that opportunity. The second piece that has really allowed this to be possible is the atmosphere that the teachers have created. I can't say the praises enough of the teachers in that classroom, and you'll hear a couple of our students speak about what it's like in that room, and it's not just a figurative fresh start. It is a literal fresh start. Many of these kids had written off school, written off teachers, written off adult authority figures, and have now found a way to connect again to a positive adult role model, and so that's been incredible. And really the final piece of that puzzle is putting learning at their own pace has really allowed students to master information and master content and master these skills, as opposed to falling behind because of academic behaviors. That we really can then focus in on what that class is trying to work on, as opposed to simply you turn this in late so you're getting less credit. And the students have found a lot of success because of that. Which button do I push? There we go. We don't get these fancy things. So, did I skip one, I believe? Yes. So in the first semester, we recommended 19 students for graduation. And the thing that we are most proud of, and really the integrity of the program, is tied to those success transition plans. What are they going to do after we get them their diploma? So they work hard, they earn it, and then it falls on us to make sure that those students are ready to live up to what it means to be a District 300 graduate and to have that District 300 diploma. So of those 19, they are all pursuing something that they put in writing that we supported them with, whether it's the ICAPS program at ECC, which allows for a year of certification, and then they go directly to the workforce. Some students are working while also pursuing further education. 7 are pursuing further education primarily at either ECC or Wolf Driving School. And then we have 4 that went directly to the workforce, but they went to the workforce with job skills in place, with very clear practice and with tangible materials that set them up for those successes. In the first semester, our enrollment peaked at 67 students. We do have rolling enrollment, as one kid comes in, others leave, graduate, things like that. We had 15 graduates during that actual first semester. We had some that were tied to the summer. That's where the 19 comes in. And really only 13 were removed or dropped. And of those, 12 were tied to attendance. And that's why, you heard Ron talk about it too. That's definitely something that we've been proactively working towards in the second semester. But again, for a number of these students has been an issue throughout their academic career. Currently, this semester, those numbers are incorrect. We're up to 74 students with 14 awaiting and 1 new graduate who finished up yesterday. So for those transition plans, this is really how we differentiate what's best for the student. The student drives this. The first half of our meeting when they come into the program is driven by me going through all of the things that they need to do, academics, attendance, behavior, and then it shifts to what do you want to do after you graduate? And not just 6 months from now, but 5, 10, 15, 20 years down the road. How can we set you up for your life? And so it really breaks down to 3 areas primarily: career, education, or military. And in each one of them, we make sure that, again, students have a tangible outcome with it, that they have the support, that they have the materials, and they also have the time to explore those things for themselves, which we feel is really important. And then just some of the highlights that are listed up there. Those are all fantastic things. Those are some of the tangible things that we can really hang our hat on. But really, the program highlight is the community that's been built in that classroom through things like our Success Giving, where we did a Thanksgiving with our students, to our Successuation. The teachers really love puns, so that's the Success Academy graduation, which we were happy to have just before the first semester ended. But it's really been that community that's come together and embraced that opportunity. 2 of those students are here. We'll recognize them in just a bit. But you know, these are with 1 semester of work, we've been able to accomplish this, and we have many more goals on the horizon that we're working towards to expand those opportunities that our students deserve.
So it's great to be able to listen to us, but I think it's more powerful if you actually hear it from our students. So if we can play the video.
Success Academy is basically just about goals. Like, it gives you an opportunity to be a new person.
I would first describe the environment of the classroom. I would tell them it's one of those good working environments where you could just plug your headphones in and just tune out everything and just focus on work. So, and plus we don't have to worry about a teacher have to focus on looking at the front of the room a lot of time. So I like that too. It helped me a lot not to give up and actually push myself into finishing something that I started.
Because last year I used to get in a lot of fights. It's been helping me not getting in trouble. Well, it's been helping me to control my anger in there.
It helped me to graduate on time now.
The Success Academy has helped me big time because I was falling behind probably about 3-4 credits. And ever since this program started, I haven't gotten in trouble. I'm barely tardy.
Because in 6th grade, I kept getting F's and everything because the teacher only explains to us once and then she doesn't explain to us anymore. And then in Success Academy, the teacher explains to us until we get it. And I like that.
It helped me out more because it's helping me recover the lost credits that I did not get to do.
You cannot let your friends hold you back. You cannot let nobody in this room tell you basically to do something, influence you in some way to mess you up. I kind of learned that.
Be good and respect other people so then my career might come true. Now, in Success Academy, they gave me an opportunity to be a better person and
something that in life won't be so easy, and then pushing more ahead in life, it's not going to be easy. You can't take the easy way out of everything.
Actually seeing that I'm actually going to finally finish and move on feels pretty cool.
I'm getting A's and B's. When I earned the Super Honor Roll, I was so excited.
Finishing one of my classes already. Everyone. And then just be more open now and focus more. Because before I couldn't, I have a lot of anxiety. So I couldn't, I would always stress out. But now with the teachers, they both helped me to be more calm. Be it's at your own pace. You can do it. Don't think of the deadline. You can make it.
I finished already a whole class, like my whole reading class in the Success Academy.
I've learned not to give up and actually like keep going and pushing myself rather than to give up.
Last year, I would have thought that I would just not graduate or be like a dropout. But with Success Academy, it's just gave me the strength I needed to actually graduate and be focused.
Like, it's made my time more manageable, everything. Like, I love this classroom, for real, for real. It's on you, because when you get in here, it's gonna be a lot of distractions. Like, it's gonna be, because everywhere you go is distractions, but you got a computer at your disposal, so you have to just focus on that task at hand. I would just tell them that, don't let nothing, like, don't worry about Facebook, don't worry about none of that. Just do your work, because the sooner you finish, the sooner you can leave, the sooner you graduate. So that's how I would tell them. Take advantage of it. I mean, it's a pretty cool feeling after you know that it's so long that you're finally going to be able to finish and move on from high school.
That there's nothing that you should be scared of. Don't let your doubts and fears overcome you, because you will do it and you will pass everything. You can do it.
Pretty awesome, huh? So we do plan on continuing to grow and expand the program. We are looking at expanding our ALET program to our Perry program, which is for 4th and 5th grade, as well as continuing to expand the options that we have at CMS and Dundee Crown and on. So we are looking at continuing to expand, continuing to grow, to be able to best meet our students' needs and really give them that diploma at the end.
So, quick reminder for the board. If you recall, Perry presented last year about their Success Academy. We then expanded that into a subsequent grade level. And really what we're trying to get at is a comprehensive approach for students to ensure on-time graduation. Right now, we are targeting specifically students who are overage and credit deficient. That does not mean that they're intellectually deficient or that their aptitude or attitude is deficient. But in a lot of these circumstances, what we find, and as they've found through the counseling with students, is that, and you heard one of the students say it very well, life gets in the way sometimes. And a poor choice 1 year can avalanche into falling further and further behind. The beauty of this program is it's self-paced, which means the incentive for the student, as you heard another student share, is the faster I get done, the faster I move into the next component. And they're able to recover. And that sense of accomplishment creates an intrinsic motivation in students who really, quite honestly, are very frustrated because they have, if anyone believes that an 18-year-old or a 17-year-old student looks at the fact that they only have 6 credits and isn't looking at their future and feeling some form of depression or some form of anxiety about who am I and I'm not going to be successful, I can't be successful. What this academy has done for these students is completely changed their life trajectory in a very positive way. Whether it's the counseling, the anger management you heard another student talk about, it's such a comprehensive approach to assisting students. It is not intended for everyone. And what I want to make sure we're very clear about is just because it's self-paced does not mean that the curriculum is dumbed down in any way. These are the exact same standards and benchmarks that students are asked to accomplish in a traditional classroom. However, they're able to take an assessment at the beginning of a test and not have to redo work that they've already mastered. So the curriculum is compacted for them and they're able to expedite, and then again with the expert assistance of teachers who are there to work and individualize instruction for students, they're able to be successful so much quicker. I will tell you that when I first got the update for them at the end of the first 9 weeks, the number of students, at that time we already had 5 students that earned enough credits to graduate. So really, again, that self-motivation, that intrinsic motivation gets developed in these students, and I'm very proud of you all for making my dream become a reality for these students. So thank you.
Mrs. Burley?
So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Chilcott because we want to recognize those students who have done just amazing things.
And my Fab Four who were the students from CMS who made it to Crown. There were supposed to be 2 here tonight. They haven't made it here yet, but I will still like to recognize their names. It's Anthony Lewis, Giovanni Espinosa, Luis Torres, and Ivan Valdepena Rosales. And they did an incredible job.
Are any of them here?
No,
Okay.
no, sorry.
They're home studying.
They're home studying. It's a school night. They're still in. And then Mr. Carlson would like to recognize a couple of his graduates from Dundee Crown.
Please come up.
So I have 2 of them here tonight. Ladies, if you don't mind coming up. I'll go through the rest of the names afterwards and kind of where they're at and what they're doing. But I would like to recognize these 2 because they were both in it from the beginning. We have Jocelyn Garcia and Ernika Kirkland. Both of them came on this summer and said, we're willing to take this opportunity. We're willing to take this risk with this brand new program with this crazy guy who's really excited about this, but doesn't really know what this is yet. But they bought in and they did fantastically. Jocelyn is planning on attending ECC to study business administration, and Ernika is currently working and plans to attend cosmetology school in the fall. So then just a few highlights for some of the rest of these students. Jessica Betancourt plans to attend Triton College in the fall. She wants to study culinary arts, specializing in baking and pastries. Pedro Chavez is planning to attend ECC to get a certification as an electrician. Myra Demas is currently attending ABC School of Cosmetology. Ryan Fogarty he is pursuing employment with Commonwealth Edison as a lineman. Jeanette Lee Garcia is attending ECC, preparing for a career in forensic science. Lissandro Gonzalez is attending ECC, hoping to prepare for a 4-year college enrollment. German Guzman is completing his CDL and wants to pursue a career in long-haul trucking. Oscar Herrera is planning to attend ECC for general studies. Itzel Lopez Vasquez is planning to attend ECC, where she will pursue her general studies. Mileti Marin is also pursuing education at ECC in forensic science, as is Noemi Ochoa. Walter Picado is pursuing his dream of becoming a professional boxer. Mario Rios is one of the students you saw speaking. He's completing his CDL and also will be pursuing long-haul trucking. Cindy Rodriguez is attending Elgin Community College. Humberto Serrato is working as a cook at an area restaurant and plans to enroll in an HVAC program this fall that he's been set up for and is being paid for. Giovanni Shelby has enrolled at a school for entertainment and music career. Randall Walker Jr. is planning to attend ECC, where he'd like to study engineering. And that's my list.
Amazing.
Do you have any questions?
Yeah, Mrs. Burley?
Right here. I'm so excited and I'm so bursting because I don't get emotional too much these days, but I'm so impressed. I'm so impressed with what I've seen tonight, with the students, with the success of this. I wish we could do this for every student in this district, and I look forward to us expanding this. It's just so nice when circumstances make it so that certain kids cannot be successful, and that we have stepped up to find a way to find those students and help them be successful, because everyone needs a hand up once in a while. Thank you.
Mrs. Kopacz?
Well, first of all, did you guys plan your outfits? Okay, just thought I'd ask. That's right. That's right. Okay. First of all, congratulations. I'll come back to that. I want to ask, what does ICAPS stand for?
I'm trying to remember the exact acronym. We're charged with remembering too many acronyms. But it's the arm of the Workforce Innovation Opportunity Act, and it goes through Elgin Community College.
Okay.
It pays for one-year certifications, things like CNC operators. They're looking to expand it, hopefully, I believe, to phlebotomy. But, one-year certifications like that, HVAC. So students are embracing that opportunity, and it's all paid for, which is the beauty of it.
That's great.
Also do help with if there's childcare issues or
Microphone.
Sorry. They also help if there's costs with uniforms or childcare or transportation. Those are paid for through this as well. So
That's amazing.
Workforce.
That's wonderful. I noticed you said 13 are awaiting enrollment. Why? What's that mean?
It could be for any number of reasons, from we have to have an IEP meeting to bring them in, to they disappear from school for 3 or 4 days at a time, to things like that.
Okay.
I want to be clear, we're very
You have the
active.
space for them. It's just that you.
Yes,
the
yeah,
ducks aren't
we
in a
have the
row.
space, but, every 2 weeks we get a new group of students to be able to bring in, and, so you're constantly working through bringing those intakes.
What is your average class size?
The average class size right now is, it's kind of spaced out. We just hired another teacher, 34 per teacher, but that will go lower once we get our other teacher hired, which I hear is happening soon. Yes. So exciting.
Don't go away. Yeah, sorry, you're talking to an ex-teacher. So you have 34 in a classroom to do that individualized instruction?
We have, so I should clarify that. We have that many students on the roster, but because of the attendance realities of a number of our students, very rarely are we at that full capacity. And that's part of why we've been able to do that. In addition to that, we have, because I've been in the room and because of how a lot of the students have worked, we are able to have a larger number because so many students do really just want that opportunity to come in and work, put their headphones in and disconnect from, everyone and everything while they work. It's been able to be effective.
And do you have social workers working with the students too? Is that part of their IEP?
If they have an IEP, yes, the social work. Yes, all necessary services that a student would receive otherwise, they still receive through our program.
And to clarify the class size, if I may, the initial plan called for an AM and a PM session, so they would have no more than a 15-to-1 ratio. What we found was overwhelmingly students did not migrate or embrace the evening component, so we're growing the daytime component. We'll also have the ability to expand the program next year with the expansion of 1-to-1 district-wide at high school, because again, that's how the program is administered. And so a student who may be at Hampshire or a student at Jacobs whose only barrier to participation, because we have overage credit deficient students at those schools as well, their only barrier at times has been transportation. So the ability for us to expand the program is there for us, and I think we'll see our numbers continue to grow and improve. We are going to continue to shift staff to the day program because, again, overwhelmingly that's where our students are migrating to in the program.
Yeah, and just also to touch on that, we do work with students from Dundee, Crown, Jacobs, and Hampshire, all 3 high schools, as well as Oak Ridge, so technically 4.
I think it's one of the most fabulous things that I've heard of in a long time, and the direction that education should always go in. So kudos to all of you. Shelley, I can tell you're passionate about it. I can just see that in you. So thank you all.
Okay, so I have a couple of questions and then a couple of comments. I want to make sure that I'm understanding the program, the process. So when a student reaches the requirements needed for graduation, they are done. They have graduated at that time, or do we hold them off until semester and end of the year?
That is part of the incentive. When a student has completed their necessary coursework and they have completed the transition plan, because we do hold them to that, then they're recommended for graduation. It is end dated. They're still considered a first or second semester graduate, depending on when they do it, as well as the summer.
But they can be done, so they've got an incentive to be done.
Yeah, and they're still able to participate in ceremonies and things like that. But when they're done, they're done.
Okay.
They're done March 3rd, they're done March 3rd.
Okay. So between the time that they're done, say March 3rd, and if they're going to be entering in classes to ECC or Triton, wherever, what happens during that period of time so that we don't lose them?
That's part of why we really push to make sure that all students have done the resume, have done cover letters, thank you letters for, when they interview, things like that, so that they have some of that experience. We've also really maintained an open door policy, so a number of our students who have graduated, they come back if they need something, if they get their financial aid and have follow-up questions. We very much work with students as much as they need.
Because if you're done March 3rd and the classes for ECC don't start until, summer classes, you've got some weeks there, and if you've got students that we've got on track, but from experience, they know it doesn't take much to get off track. And if we want to keep them on that focus, so I'm happy to hear that we have where they can touch base back with us. Which leads me to a totally bizarre kind of a thought here.
We do bizarre.
Okay, so I'm known for bizarre. Within our community, we have students, we have adult individuals that do not have high school diplomas. This is this is the kind of program I think that could possibly be expanded beyond just our currently enrolled students. Whether we open it up to the parents of students that maybe don't have a high school diploma and we offer it as a fee-based type of a program that covers that.
There is.
So
we can provide you with the background on that. We pursued that similar option recently. There are some state restrictions that prevent us from currently doing that, but we can absolutely revisit it and work with our legislators to see if there's a way for us to amend current legislation.
So what that means to me, this whole program, whatever the state does, the state's going to do, and maybe we can figure a way to work around them. Mm-hmm. But the focus that I see has been taking place within our district between what we're doing at Perry, whether it's in discipline review or whatever the programs are, is this whole paradigm shift, this whole attitude change to being our job as educators is to work towards the success of our students. I mean, we instituted even the difference in the grading for our students with the philosophy that it isn't so much to punish a student if they don't learn in the traditional sense, as much as it is our job as educators to say, well, what can we do to help them succeed? Because let's not count them out because they're not in that general population. So I just love this program. And by me saying, okay, well, maybe we can expand it here, maybe we can do it here, how about this, doesn't diminish the value and how great this program is now. It's just that since you guys have planted the seed and you're successful, I just want to see how many of our 20,000 students we can also help out with. Because how many times have we sat and we've looked at a student's report card and we've said, oh, wait a minute, how did they get past 6th grade? How did they get past 7th grade? How did they get past 8th grade? Or why weren't they caught? And so this is great. Love it. Thank you.
Just one of the things, we have had a number of students through word of mouth who have dropped out and now sought to come back. Some of them are able to because of their age, and then some of them we have not been able to help because they are overage, but we've referred them to GED programs and things like that. So the word is spreading, and we're doing everything that we can within our limits to be able to help those students.
It's great. Okay.
The real success of this whole program is that as a team, we're meeting students where they're at.
Right.
Not trying to force the round block in the square holes.
And not setting them up for failure.
Right.
I mean, as Mr. Hyde said, when you're looking at your grades and you're looking at your credit deficiency, you're going to be thinking, oh, what the heck? I'm not ever going to be able to do this. And you've got every stumbling block along the way that's preventing you. Something like this is saying, okay, and the students on the video said it. They take me where I am, and they tell me I can do it. Instead of, you didn't bring your pencil, you're not prepared, you can't do this, you're missing school, blah, blah. that just adds into a student's feeling of okay, all I can do is.
Our four that transitioned to Crown mid-year, coming in, you couldn't believe the deflation in their faces, just the sorrow. And then I'm like, there's a way to get you there. I can't get you there today, but I can get you there by the middle of the year if you can work with me. And that was the key.
Because they have somebody who actually cares. I mean, that makes a big difference. And you're telling a student that, well, no, sorry, you have to repeat 8th grade because you didn't do what you're supposed to do. It's like, we're not looking at blame here. We're looking at success. What can we do to help you get to where you want to be? It's fabulous. Sorry.
No.
I rambled, but I'll ramble when it's on student success.
I'll just start
like
crying
this.
again if I talk about it. So we're
yeah,
good.
me too.
One of the things I do just want to add real quickly, because of one of the comments you made, one of the things that's been really exciting about this is it's opened up a lot of conversations about our structures of interventions throughout the entire building at Dundee Crown and buildings. With the ARC process, I think at times I've maybe not been the most popular person because. So NALAP came up and suddenly, we're changing these procedures, and it's because we've recognized that there are so many layers that we need to identify and how to help kids, and it's really been a big catalyst to that process, and that's something that we've been really proud of with the ARC.
We've said so many times that we recognize that all students don't learn in traditional settings. It's great to say it, it's great to believe that, but now we're saying, okay, we're going to put them anywhere your mouth is. We're going to actually say, yes, we know that all students don't, and we're going to help those that don't, and this is how we're going to do it. So it's great.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And we will transition to the third topic in the superintendent's report. Hopefully it elicits the same emotional response from everyone. Couple quick things. Could Andy Ranke just sneak out? There goes his shout out tonight. All right, let's begin with District 300. Come on, step back in for a second. District 300 being named one of the best districts in the state of Illinois. So I shared this on social media. Very, very pleased that we made the Niche 300, or 2017 Best School Districts in Illinois report card. The rankings were based on a variety of factors, including rigorous analytics of academics and student life data that's being reported by the Department of Ed. So there's not a way for us to skew this data, along with test scores and collegiate data. This year, our district's ranking was 56th overall. And we improved 21 spots from our prior year of ranking of 77. Clearly, this is a strong statement about the quality of work that's happening in our classrooms, and so I want to thank all of our staff and students for their hard work.
Point out a couple of things on ours compared to some of the others. Diversity is an A+.
Absolutely.
Some of the schools that rated
C-
higher were, I don't think I saw many that were as well as we are. College readiness, phenomenal. I really think that they got two things completely wrong on here, and that's our teachers and our administration. That B+ grades, I think they're inaccurate. Those are A+ grades. So
That's all right. We'll break the 50s next year.
yeah, I mean, I mean, I can say that some of the, I don't have so much knowledge regarding a lot of the others on how they rated, but I do think that the B+ for administrators and B+ for teachers is inaccurate.
And I would point out, for the benefit of the board or anyone else who sees this video later, and for our staff, I will tell you that if you click on the links that are embedded, the drill down in this is quite impressive. The factual nature of the data that they surveyed, it's quite impressive. And I would again say, to be 56th out of 400 plus comprehensive or consolidated school districts, we are, when you compare our size to those above us, and again, the diversity of our demographics, we truly stand out. This is a job well done, and it's one that I'm very proud to hang my hat on and say, we did this together. And so all the hard work over the years in our district, they're truly paying off. So, and it's a strong testament again to what's happening in our classrooms whether it's our paraeducators, whether it's our teachers, whether it's our buildings administrators. I mean, really, it's all coming together, and we're starting to see significant improvements in growth. So,
well, we've always said that our diversity is one of our strengths, and that shows that it is.
Okay, next topic, and this is why I had to ask Mr. Ranke to come back in with us. So recently, the Algonquin Middle School Talent Show was held. I got flooded with pictures on social media and in my text messaging. I was unable to attend, but I did want to say thank you to you and your community. It was last Friday evening, so I heard you had a tremendous turnout. I saw pictures of the audience, so kudos to you and your team for pulling off this event. Hopefully it's something that continues for a long time in your community. And I did get a lot of reports about how talented your students were. So I wanted to personally thank you and say you got a shout out tonight. So now you can go. I want to also kind of give another shout out to the Durham transportation staff. So as you know, last week, as all of our weeks are, we're very busy, and we did host our Special Olympics basketball game against the staff. And this again, I was attending a different event, and Donna Bordson was kind enough to forward this photo to me, and I quickly posted it on all our social media outlets because these are all of the bus drivers and support staff and assistants that really work with our special needs students on a daily basis. And I cannot tell you how many individuals contacted me either through private message, email, or on social media to tell me how much it meant to the students to see them there. So to all of them and to everyone who supports our students, I wanted to say a special thank you to them. But I do indeed think this is part, and it qualifies for our District 300 good news. Moving on, summer offerings. As the board knows, I provided you with a summary of I will come back to that, I'm sorry, of all of our summer offerings. Our comprehensive listing is available online. We're trying to get it out early so that parents can make decisions. Some of the things I'm really excited about is the expansion of our STEM offerings into our Title I feeder patterns this year. Also, we are taking back, as you know, our Education Foundation for years was funding a pilot program where we did a summer performing arts program. Last year we did not host it because the conversation was, how does the district now, how long does a pilot run before the district says it's been successful and yes, we want to replicate it? And that's exactly what we've done. So under the leadership of Jake Stauffer, we have decided to expand this. It will be a fee-based program like our other summer offerings. But we're truly excited to be able to have this moving forward. So you have a comprehensive list of all of the offerings, and again, it's all available to our stakeholders online. Going back to the Meadowdale Orchestra, this week as I visited classrooms, I have never, ever had the opportunity to play a violin. And I walked into this classroom, and I will tell you, this teacher deserved the shout out that he got, because when I walked into his classroom, he was talking about science topics with his students, teaching them in orchestra about friction, about rosin being tree sap, about waves, about all of those things. And then I said, wow, I'm really impressed. Could you guys play something for me? I said, because I have no music talent whatsoever. I said, I've never even held the violin, at which point the teacher said, oh, we need to change that. Mr. Hyde, please have a seat. I am not holding the frog appropriately. I did learn a new term. It's actually called the frog. And I will admit it sounded like I was injuring a cat. But it was just such a pleasure, and those students were so sweet to encourage me, and I wanted to give them a shout out as well. That's cool. Community Leadership Academy. Quick update for the board. The 20th is when the academy submissions had to be submitted by. We have gone through the vetting process, and we are in the process of communicating or contacting all of the applicants that have been accepted. And also, because in some schools we received multiples, we're having to notify individuals that, unfortunately, the 2 slots for their school have been filled. And so very pleased. I think our last count, we received 1 more today because it had inadvertently gone into our spam folder. So we did authorize 1 more today. So if I recall correctly, Ms. Keys, I'm going to turn to you. Are we at 40? 35 total members at this point for the Community Leadership Academy. Our first meeting is in February. We'll kind of set the tone. We'll do introductions. We'll talk about group norms. We'll talk about the agendas. We'll solidify the calendar. And I'm also going to take them through the True Colors part so that they have a better understanding of how to better communicate with each other. And I have a better understanding of how to communicate with them so that because sometimes we can bulldoze through a conversation assuming everyone thinks like us. So we want to make sure we embrace that as well. I think it's a great opportunity for all of our stakeholders to have a voice and to also explore with us new topics and ideas that we may be exploring. And Madam President and members of the board and guests this evening and staff, that concludes the superintendent's report.
Thank you.
Didn't mention that
We have no public participation. Do we have any legislative updates?
Just a short one. There's a lot going down in Springfield right now, so there's not really too much to discuss there. I did want to remind the board that I'll be leaving for Washington, D.C. on Friday. Ms. Garcia will be with me on Saturday. We're going to be attending an equity symposium, and then I will be staying on to do my yearly lobbying trip with our national organization. I met with Mr. Hyde, and we discussed priorities for the district, and the two that I will be talking to them about specifically is, once again, fully funding special education, which they have not historically ever done. And the other, which is new, is pushing for additional CTE funds, career and technical education funds for Perkins grants, and more money to be able to put into putting our students to being able to find other venues and other outlets for our students once they graduate for career. So I will give a complete update when I come back at the next board meeting. I'll report back.
Okay, thank you. Item number 10, motion to approve consent items less than $25,000.
Second.
Mr. Alessio?
Garcia.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Alessio, aye. Lopez.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Burley.
Burley?
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, item 11, consent items greater than greater than 25,000. Motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Alessio, aye. Burley.
Aye.
Garcia.
Aye.
Miller.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Motion passes 6-0.
Okay, board discussion. We had minutes from the board finance and construction facility oversight. Any other updates from the board finance committee?
Nope.
Any other updates from the board construction and facility oversight committee?
On tonight.
Any other board discussion update items from any board member?
If I may, Madam President, and the board committee on construction was not apprised of this yet prior to the meeting. We had just learned that all of our permitting has been approved through the ROE for the expansion projects at our 2 elementary schools.
Great. Okay, any other motion to adjourn?
Second.
Garcia.
Aye.
Burley.
Aye.
Lopez.
Aye.
Fiorentino.
Aye.
Alessio, aye. Miller.
Aye.
Years.